Hi, everyone. It is Melissa with Jacksonville Business Connections. I am here today with Ashlyn, and I'm super excited because this year for our holistic expo, we added a little something new. We did a Power of Connections award, and we had a little extra money from some workshops that we hosted, and I was able to offer a business $200 to invest and do a little bit more than what they currently are doing with their business. And Ashlyn, she owns the Collective Ohm. And Ashlyn, thank you for being here. And if you would love to just jump right in and tell us a little bit about your business.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me, Melissa. So,
You're welcome.
Collective Ohm is really a bridge between Western science and Eastern wisdom. And I'm focusing mainly right now on professional speaking and going into organizations, different communities, and helping people slow down, moving from stress and reactivity into strategy. And that can look a little different. That can be some different workshops where I come in and teach breath work. I've also, in relation to this award and the expo, I do a lot of community-based service, doing yoga, breath work, meditation on the beach. That's all been donation-based as well. So that's a little about me for now and the Collective O.
Thank you so much for sharing that. So, along with this award, we had potential appliquees fill out information. So, what kind of inspired you to start your business?
That's quite a question because I never thought I wanted to be a business owner. I can tell you that. A big inspiration for me was I was living in Dublin, Ireland about 2 years ago as an assistant professor at Trinity College. And it was a pinnacle of my career. I'd worked a really long time to have my PhD and be a researcher, but I wasn't happy. And I felt I deserved for myself to put myself out there and have no clue what I was going to do, but go on a different career and a trajectory. And then somewhere along the line of moving back to the United States after I had been in Europe for 4 years, I saw how stressed out people were and that people are in autopilot. They are exhausted. They have decision fatigue. And especially contrasting to that, I had lived in France for three
Oh, wow.
years and seeing how different the culture was there. I felt it almost was this obligation of I've learned so much in my education and I allowed myself to then learn a lot in the holistic field. And I wanted to be able to give back and do something that was simple to help people get out of this high stress level so they can live better lives, have better relationships, and ultimately be happier.
That's awesome. And do you miss being back in the other countries?
Of course, I believe happiness is something that's within us, and you can find that happiness wherever. But there are some environments that I think are more conducive and simpler to support health. I definitely miss in France just walking everywhere and having a bike and the fresh food and the smell of the boulangerie and the bread in the mornings. And it was really lovely. 35-hour work weeks, 5 weeks paid vacation. But I will
Wow.
say after living in Dublin, that was still lovely and charming in its own way. It was more rainy and cloudy sunshine state and to be on a beach. So there's always something that's missed. And I
Right.
miss speaking another language around being around different people and different cultures. But there is a lot that Jacksonville has to offer. And I think any place does if you open yourself up for that.
That's very true. So when you left a job that you already had and you were established and then went into starting your own business, you don't do both at all? You strictly are in your own business?
Yes, yeah, no, I'm strictly in my own business because
Oh,
I
wow.
really had no clue. I remember I was pumpkin carving with my friends in Dublin and I had no clue. In 1 week, I ended my job, my country, and a relationship. And I had no clue where I was going to live, where I was going to move, anything. All I knew was it wouldn't be Florida because my parents were here and I was like, maybe I would go visit, but I love hiking and I love seasons and that was all I knew. So, and here I
That
am
makes
a year
sense.
later.
Kind of a fresh start all around.
Yeah.
And then since you've kind of been working your own business, have you faced any challenges or what do you think has been one of your hurdles that you've had to overcome?
Wow, it's I could probably talk a really long time about hurdles and challenges. I I would say probably the most consistent challenge as a solopreneur is the decision fatigue and the lack of clarity of knowing what direction and when to take the bigger steps. Maybe you understand that you need to have a website or you should invest in marketing or there's these big picture things and you understand you have to take steps to get there. But
Yes,
sometimes it feels the chicken or the egg. Do I need to have enough clientele to invest in a website or do I need the website to get the clientele? And so I was kind of spinning in a lot of this indecision and for me, I was trying to just follow all these leads. Okay, this person recommended this program and I'll try this and let me try this and that. And I really got pretty exhausted wearing myself out. And one thing that's really supported me is slowing down more and listening to my intuition and just because I can do all of these things, which one really energizes me? And what do I feel good with? And I've been trying to listen to those markers in my body and the responses of people around me as well to really guide some of these choices because it can be exhausting, all the choices that come up again and again and again, and things you don't know anything about from lawyers to customer development and coding. It's a lot.
it is. It's definitely a lot. Being in the same realm, I have a little bit of a bonus because like my background is technology. So I was able to kind of do my own website and marketing and things like that. But I could definitely see it being a bigger challenge when you're trying to figure all that out on your own.
Yeah, because you have what your talent is, right? Or the service you want to provide. And even that might be shifting as you're learning needs of the market and
Mhm. Oh
everything.
yeah,
But then you realize whatever job you've had in the past, you're in this silo, and now all of a sudden you need to be the accountant and the salesperson and the social media person, and you're wearing so many hats. And it's
right.
hard to be listening culturally, what's going on, what do I need to do, while also following up and being tedious, while then also networking and having the big picture visions and knowing when to shift. And I am someone that's very social, and I believe so much in the power of community and other people's lived experience. That's the most rich thing is your wisdom. And it's been challenging feeling isolated in a silo in that. But I found the
Hmm.
more I talk to other business owners and we try to create this community, it's been what supported me the most is everyone coming together and learning together, even though we're doing separate things, having that power, that connection, and that community has been a
Hmm.
huge support.
It is, and building other, working with other business owners, and then also working with the community who are part of your business. So I definitely agree on that. Do you feel like there was any, maybe like one specific thing so far that you felt like, oh, this kind of got me out there, or this helped me grow and get business?
Oh, that's a that's a hard one. I would say as far as networking goes, I did do the Jax Bridges entrepreneurial program.
Oh, okay.
And while it almost in there, I think I wanted to start about three new businesses. It was really incredible for networking and I met a lot of really great people. So I do feel like that's been incredibly helpful. Yeah, that's the first thing that pops in my mind, but it's sometimes, even like how we're in this call now, it's you have to reverse, and all the little decisions you make have such profound impacts, and it can be hard to even have that eyesight to look back on.
Yeah, absolutely. And then as you look forward, what do you think is one of your main goals for the future?
Sorry, you cut out a little there, but I think if was the
Oh,
question on my main goals going forward.
yeah, like maybe one of your main goals going forward in the future?
Yeah, so I'm shifting my company to being a keynote speaker and doing professional speaking. And my goal is to help people slow down. And I've created this regulate, reflect, reconnect model that really combines Western science, it combines breath work all together to help people shift their physiology just within a few minutes. And so my goal is to reach as many people as possible, especially people that might not have access to holistic modalities that maybe never heard of breathing or having a mind body connection, and trying to break these myths that are about holistic practices or not having time for yourself and helping people really have agency in their life because stress takes that away. You don't realize that it impacts the way you think, it impacts the relationships you have, and then you aren't enjoying your life because even the thing you're wanting to do, you feel stressed about, and the perfectionism and the tendencies at the end, you're just focused on what's wrong. So helping assist people to empower them through their mindset, through their breath, through their body. That is my goal. And the way I found I can reach the most people is through these keynote speakings and then going in and doing trainings with people that could be a little bit more in depth. And I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be very impactful.
That's awesome. I might have to connect with you because our women's event is in October and we're looking for a little bit more hands-on interactive type of not so much where you just go and listen to someone speak, but maybe the person who's presenting is actually having the women participate and do something. So this sounds like potentially this could be a fit. So I'll definitely reach out and see if you're interested.
Yeah, that would be great. I would love to empower women through that. And I love talks that are interactive too, because at the end of the day, that's what I build is something that's simple. Because I don't know about you, but with AI right now and just the state of the world, I just feel so exhausted and
Hmm.
overwhelmed. And I can listen to podcasts and all these things. I just want something that's easy that I don't have to think about, that can be ingrained in my mind. Hey, this is what's going on. Let me get out of the situation and get in a better state. So that's what I'm trying to build, something that's simple that everyone can do and that can help people.
I totally can relate. I feel like I always have a list of 100 to-dos or new ideas, and I'm only tackling a handful of them at a time because it's just you can only do so much.
Yeah.
But is there anything else that you think we haven't covered that maybe you would like to share?
Just that you're more powerful than you realize for whoever's listening. And mindfulness doesn't have to be this big thing. It doesn't have to be an hour class. That sometimes just holding your cup of coffee or enjoying the sun hitting you is a step. And it can take 8 weeks to form a habit. But as soon as you start doing these little steps every day, you start to get more empowerment and it becomes easier and easier. And so just not to give up on yourself and to believe in yourself, because I believe we're so much more powerful. And I can just say from my story of it took a lot of courage to leave a career I'd spent so long building within.
Mhm.
And we often restrict ourselves because we have these ideas of what we should do. And sometimes these ideas are even what other people's dreams of our lives and not even our own. And
That's
it's
true.
been so life altering for me to actually allow experiences that feel aligned, that bring me peace, and that honor my gifts, and to be able to share that with others and just encourage people to really question, are you doing anything with your job that you feel really passionate or you feel good about? And I know passion can't always hit responsibility. And one of my mentors, that's one of my breathwork trainers, Kyle Roberts, has a modern interpretation of Dharma, which is maximal responsibility paired with maximal excitement. So I would encourage people to consider trying to find a path that has both and where you can be honored in yourself as well.
That's great advice because I think a lot of people are stuck in their jobs, or even if they're starting a business like we have, still stuck, like you said, on how do you really get it going, or what do you focus on, or sometimes they don't take off in the beginning the way we hope. And I think that's great advice to really just take a step back, see what works, what makes you happy, and kind of just move forward from there.
Yeah, and one last thing, what something you just said sparked something in me of like the changes in trajectory and things don't go the way we hope. And I think that's been my biggest lesson is shifting that mindset of, at first I thought I was going to have a nonprofit, and then I thought I was going to do grant writing, and then, I thought this and that, and it kept shifting. But ultimately, that's just so much information and lessons. Like, thank goodness I learned this now instead of 5 years later. And if we can
Mhm.
view that life as happening for us, not to us, like, okay, so why did this shift happen? Or maybe I'm pushing and this thing's not working. And take a step back to really ask, why is that? And maybe there's another door that's more you, that's more aligned, that could be more fruitful. And sometimes I know I've just pushed and not seen these bigger pictures. And I'm really starting to view redirections as lessons and what can I learn from
Mhm.
it? Yeah.
That's interesting you say that because I've been in a few situations like that too, and I've had to, in the moment, maybe even the next day, it kind of like doesn't sit right, and then I just keep praying over it or saying like this is for a reason, like let go of whatever I'm holding on to. It's there's something else for me that's not my direction, and it's really helped. But it's taken me a long time to get there, but now I keep saying that stuff in my head like it's that wasn't for me. I have plenty of other opportunities ahead.
Yes, yeah, I really believe you can't lose something that's for you. And whenever something really challenging happens, I'm like, okay, this is for my growth. There's some bigger lesson here, and maybe I need to let go of that control and that attachment to this thing and just be.
Mhm.
So,
That's awesome. Well, I want to thank you for sharing all this with my audience. And I'm so happy that you were the winner of the Power of Connections Award and that I met you through our holistic event. And we'll definitely continue to stay in touch and hopefully connect more in our business worlds.
awesome. Well, I look forward to it. Thank you
Okay.
for having me
You're
on here.
welcome. Talk to you soon.
Okay, talk soon.